Blake Production.
What is poppin'? We're looking at Galaxy Digital Holdings. The gang is strong on Twitter today. It's funny, we get a strong move in Galaxy. Uh, it, the emotions go crazy. Everyone gets all fired up. But all jokes aside, like, we've probably built the strongest community on Twitter through bull posting Galaxy and sharing game, giving value, doing the due diligence. It's one of the only stocks out there where if you just are new to Galaxy and you want to learn about it, if you go on Twitter and you search $GLXY, it will lead you to a plethora of bullish, bearish information, mostly bullish. But if you're learning to get educated on a stock, this is probably the easiest way. And you're getting a lot of insider talks about it as well. People who are more, in the know of what's going on. So it's great to see. I highly recommend, if you want to learn about the company, go on to Twitter. It's a great resource to have. So let's get into this from a technical perspective. What we're seeing here is a very interesting chart, and it kind of reminds me of MicroStrategy's chart. So I'll pull that up here, right, side by side. And if we look here, there's a few things we could point out that, you could point out the similarities, right? We have the top back in February or April of 2021, very similar timing here. We have the top. We try to make a double top here. It happens to be similar, not as high, but we have two double tops happening, right? One here, one here. You look at Galaxy and it's similar, right? Similar time frames as well. Then we have a long bear market, a large period of accumulation. Same here, long bear market, long period of accumulation. And look how slowly it starts to ramp up, and then all of a sudden it goes, right? We're seeing the slow ramp up, and before you know it, we could potentially be getting that move coming soon. And I think something that would drive that, obviously, is the NASDAQ uplisting. We don't know if it's going to happen sooner than later, but, that's what we could be looking at, a move like this, potentially. And even if we don't see that, right, we see the chart similarities from MSTR to Galaxy. And it's another side point here, like Galaxy being Solana's #1 validator, kind of puts Galaxy into a category similar to MSTR, right? MSTR, you could think of them as the Bitcoin company, right? It's the largest company with the most amount of Bitcoin held, and probably the largest crypto-related stock or Bitcoin-related stock in terms of market cap. Now, when we look at Galaxy Digital Holdings, they're sort of starting to do that for Solana. And if Solana is going to have as big as an impact as an Ethereum or a Bitcoin or a top 10 or 5 coin, you got to think of this chess move that the team at Galaxy is doing here, right? They're thinking way ahead of the game in terms of what's to come. And if this move is correct, I think it could potentially lead to a massive opportunity for growth in the company. And another thing we got to look at, right? Galaxy Digital Holdings is something like, again, correct me if I'm wrong, I'm almost certain about this, but they're less than 10% of Coinbase's market cap. If you're looking for a company in the crypto space that is almost like a centerpiece, right? They're a cornerstone in the crypto industry in terms of being a miner, an asset manager, a venture capitalist firm, a staking company, a mining company. I might have said that twice. There's so many lines of business that they're touching, and it's almost like they're basically creating this. Some people call it like the Berkshire Hathaway of crypto, the BlackRock of crypto, whatever. They're creating an opportunity for investors to to go like, hey, look, like if you want to invest in the entirety of crypto, this is the company to do it for, to look into. And again, none of this is financial advice. It's just one of my favorite stocks. And everything's adding up. Like in terms of some of the videos I've posted in the past, the Galaxy thesis is stronger than it's ever been. Everything's lining up, and it continues week after week, month after month, confirming, and the conviction just keeps getting stronger. So we compared the MSTR chart to Galaxy. We see the similarities. Now, if we don't get that strong bullish move to happen in the next few months, I wouldn't worry. It's not that serious. Another indicator you can kind of use to hint to a strong move coming is the Bollinger Bands. So if you look at last cycle, the Bollinger Band started to like pretty much expand to the upside, the upper Bollinger Band. And it was playing in between the middle and the upper Bollinger Band for quite some time before we started to get this really sporadic, strong price movement to the upside. Now, if we kind of ghost Galaxy's chart for a second here, and we look at the Bollinger Bands here on the weekly time frame, we're starting to see right here a very similar upward point in the chart right here, right? So we're starting to see this happen again. So this could be foreshadowing that there could be a strong price move to the upside when we see the Bollinger Bands expand in that way, right? So that's a way to look at this stock on the regular scale. But when we look at it from the logarithmic scale, I think it's a lot easier to identify major points to kind of not be worried about, but be aware of, which is always important. We want to be aware of what's to come. So again, we look at Galaxy from January 2021 to April 2022, and you see this area act as a strong support before we break down and enter that bear market. And we've been hovering around this similar area for quite some time now over here. And I love the fact that this previous support turned into resistance, and right now we're trying to eat up as many shares in this range as possible, right? So it might not be easy to see when you do it like that, but there's two other ways to identify this. You could use just a rectangle box, right? A rectangle box from previous cycle's support to this cycle's resistance. And it's pretty clear that in this range is where we're starting to see the support flip into resistance. Why I think that's bullish is once all the shares are eaten up in this range, this will flip into support again, which means it would confirm that, you know, this 1, 2, this third wave that we're looking for, right, is very likely to come, as long as the Bitcoin and Ethereum and Solana trifecta here continue to perform better than the rest of the market, right? We might potentially reach these levels again in the future, right? But that overall is the thesis. Another way we could look at this zone and prove to ourselves, like, okay, this is a major area, and if we can move past it, there will be a strong move to the upside. You could use the volume profile here. And essentially what the volume profile is trying to tell you is the amount of shares at a certain price point. And this can be used as an indicator for showing you where the resistance and where the supports are on the chart. And if you look here, right, this is the area where most of the shares were eaten up, right around this $3 to $8 range is where majority of the shares were eaten up. The next highest level where there's a volume profile level that we should be aware of is right around the $14 to like $17 area, right? These three bars are indicating to us that this is pretty much the last stand in terms of where major resistance could be. Bullish as hell, right? Because what happens once we eat up all this all the shares at this level is it essentially erases the resistance, and all that's left in terms of resistance ahead of us is probably the high 20 level area, we'll call it $26 to $29 zone right around here, and then previous all-time highs, right? So there's there's a world, right? We'll pull up the MSTR chart again, but there's a world where I see, Galaxy doing something very similar to MSTR, where we get this strong move right into previous all-time highs, and then we create a larger pattern to consolidate into maybe next year or into the following years. And that right there would create pretty much tat for tat the exact same chart as MSTR, right? So this is a possibility of what we could be looking for. If you want to get into like the nitty gritty of, Galaxy's chart on the daily time frame, what I see that is most prominent in my opinion starts from the ascending triangle that's been developing for quite some time, right? You could kind of post up this lower trend line, and then you could see that there's a clear resistance we've been stalling at, and all it's going to take now is a little bit of time to basically finish absorbing the shares at this price before this could turn into support, right? So from a technical perspective on the daily time frame, we're looking to see something like this to break out to that high 20 level, right? The 26 to $29 zone. So that is my kind of shorter term outlook compared to a more medium to long term outlook. I think Galaxy's setting up a major company in this space, and for sitting at less than 10% of Coinbase's market cap, you're getting a bargain, right? You're getting a major bargain here. And then just to leave this off, something we should probably mention, right? The elections are coming up. Crypto is being talked about more than ever. Galaxy is more popular now than ever before. You have Novogratz shilling Galaxy, bull posting Galaxy. The community on X is stronger than ever. This is the opportunity in the market. I think this is one of the better ones you could find. So keep all that in mind. Do your own research. Again, none of it's financial advice. But tap into Galaxy Twitter because there's a lot of opportunity to learn and educate yourself there. Peace, guys.